Mike Craven here with UTEP head coach Dana Dimel. Coach, welcome to DFW. We were talking about a little bit yesterday, this humidity, a little bit different than it is. I think everybody always thinks El Paso is like the hottest city in the state, and it's not.
It's not. It's actually a great place to live. I'm not just saying that, but we love it out there. And there's no humidity, right? I think I was on the other day on the driving range, and then I said, God, it's really humid today, 12% humidity, right? And what is it today here? Probably 70, right? So that's the part that you just don't ever get used to, is the humidity. And obviously my time at Houston, I had plenty of that. So we're really glad that we don't have to experience that in El Paso.
How do you go about picking the players to bring here, and who gets to represent the team and that stuff?
Yeah, it's interesting because we have a lot of guys that are deserving, and I wish we could take 4, because it's just an experience. It's so funny that you mentioned that. When we were leaving, we ran into Aaron Jones, who was heading out to Green Bay because they report today, and he was saying, Coach, when we did ours, we went to Boca Raton. He said it's one of the best experiences I've ever had, and here's a guy, obviously that's played in the league for a long time. So this is fun. And so I'd love to pick as many guys as we can. But I try to mix it up from last year. We had Praise and Gavin, but they're back. But I didn't want to take them again. So Tyrese and Dion are just guys that have just been so loyal to the program and just represent our program because they're both really, really fine students as well. And as you know, Mike, I'm always talking about our GPA, and I'm really proud of the way guys present themselves. So these guys definitely do that.
I'm sure that's always been important to recruit character and loyalty, but I'd imagine nowadays it's even more so with just the portal and everything. Like how important is that to building culture?
It's so important. I mean, we have not been hit very hard at all. We lost one player in the portal, right, that played for us last year. And so much of that is because the players that we have are loyal, and they've been taught by their families the right thing, the things that are important in life, and we're blessed. I mean, there's the other thing is that I'm just blessed. There's nothing that we're doing that's just causing that to happen. It's just a blessing from above, but it's also something that these kids have been taught the good things in life. What's important, and loyalty is very important.
You're going to spend more time in the quarterback room, you told me. How much do you think that's going to help Gavin Hardison's kind of development and just the offense as a whole?
I think it's going to be really important because, as we've talked about, Mike, it's his eyes are going to be where I want them to be. And, quarterback's eyes are so important because there's so many options on each play. And he's going to hear all the things about adjustments and blitz checks that I want him to hear. And so it's just important. It wasn't that the people that were coaching him before, they did an excellent job, but it's just the play caller should be involved in it. And sometimes that's hard as a head coach, but I think it's good that a head coach calls plays because you call plays with the whole big picture in mind. You're not necessarily calling it for stats. You're calling it to help the team win. But I think it's important that the head coach also spends plenty of time with the quarterback.
How different is your job now than it was maybe in year 1, year 2, when you're just trying to dig yourselves out of that hole?
Yeah, the practices perpetuate themselves now. The system perpetuates itself. As you hear culture, the culture's built. Our strength program is really, really heavily ingrained now. So the kids understand how to work, and so that part of it's there. They understand how to practice. They understand how to prepare. I always can get better at that part of it. So now I'm not spending as much. I don't have to spend as much time with that. The other coaches can do it because they understand the system and the culture, and now I can spend more time coaching, which I'm going to be in meetings now, which is like, a head coach being in actual position meetings is really something that I haven't done for a long, long time, as a head coach. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
Chip back on the shoulder after last year, how much do you think that helps the team kind of having that goal to kind of get back to?
That's who we are, right? That's when 2 years ago when we, made the bowl game and had such a good team. There wasn't any difference in our talent level last year than the year before. We might have even been a little bit more talented last year, but we didn't play necessarily smart in the way we need to play and play with that chip. As you say, this year we're the most athletic that we've been since I've been there. And so now, but we got to get that edge back, and that's going to be important. And more important than even the edge, it's playing our brand of football.
And then how important is a quick start to the team this year?
Really, really important. I think momentum builds itself. And last year we didn't get that quick start, right? We came out and lost our first couple games, and so we had to overcome that, right? And that's a bad hole to dig. We did a good job of that. We got ourselves to the, 24-0 lead to go to a bowl game over UTSA and didn't finish for injury reasons or whatever it might have been. But we don't want to start slow this year. Let's start fast and then build off of that.
How much more balanced is this conference the way it's laid out to where it maybe hasn't been in the last couple of years?
Oh, I think it's just balanced. I think that Conference USA last year was a really, really talented conference. I thought we fared well. I thought we were better than what people thought we might have been. But I think this year we're going to be so evenly so much parity. Each and every team can beat any team on any given Saturday or Wednesday or whatever, Thursday or whatever it may be. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun league to follow, but I think it's a good football league.
That was going to be my next question. How difficult is it? This may be a new thing. How you manage those midweek games? How does that change the way you practice and prepare?
Yeah. I'm still figuring that out, right? I mean, that's brand new, right? So we all have our plans, but we're going to tweak them. I think a good thing about a coach is that you got to be able to tweak things as you go along. You got to get a good feel for your team. And so it's going to be very interesting how we manage the weeks. So one game we play La Tech on Friday, and then we'll play our next game till the 11th against FIU, and then we have back-to-back Wednesday games after that against New Mexico State and Sam Houston. So that little stretch right there will be real important for me to manage, that part of our season and see how we handle that.
Then lastly, what are your expectations for UTEP in 2023?
Yeah, our expectations is really very, very simple for us to play, to make the games be our type of football games. And if we do that, a.k.a. Boise, right? Boise, we made them play UTEP football, right? And we beat them very handily. So I think that's going to be big for us this year's. We have the talent, right? It's also going to be important that some of our new athletic guys, really become consistent and assignment sound.
All right, sir. Appreciate the time as always.
Always.
Thank you.
Thanks, bro.